listening to the Outright Proud podcast, LBQ Parenting Series. In this series, we'll hear about the parenting experiences of lesbian, bisexual, and queer activists from around the world, including Outright staff, LBQ Connect alumni, and sounding board members. This series is an opportunity to share their stories, amplify their needs, and celebrate their families.
Hi, everyone. This is Laura Piazza from the LBQ Connect program here with you today. And we are going to talk about LBQ parenting, which is a topic that is very dear to me because I'm a parent and because I'm queer. And we're here today with Gloria. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Laura.
Gloria is an LBQ activist from Uganda and also a parent. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Gloria, can you tell us about your experience, like something about you as a parent?
My name is Gloria. I am from Uganda. I'm an LBQ woman. I am a feminist and I'm an activist and I'm a mom. I also work with Freedom and Rome Uganda as the programs director. I love being a parent, first of all, because quite old in age. I won't tell you how old I am, but I'm a bit older. And there was a lot of pressure as I was growing up, considering that I'm a person that's coming from Africa and a woman at that, about like childhood, because like all your parents kept thinking about is like you need to have your children. So there's this saying they say of you need to have your children when you still have the energy to push. So I felt a lot of pressure about that for quite a long time, but it never broke me. So at the point where I felt I was ready to be a parent, I then made the decision to become a parent. So I'm actually really enjoying being a parent. I'm enjoying motherhood.
Gloria, what do you like in particular about being a queer parent?
I feel like being a queer parent in its own way is a form of resistance, right? And people, especially from back home where I am from, don't really understand queer parenting. But also if you look at the portrayal, because like I'm from Uganda, most people that know about queer parenting from Africa have seen it in movies, and most of the depiction of queer parenting is usually two gay men. So two women co-parenting is something that is very unusual, that is frowned upon, but it's also something that they do not understand. So I feel like me being a queer parent is resistance in its own way, but then also that I know I can't dictate that, but at least I have an opportunity to raise my child in the way I wish my mom would have raised me. So far, so good, but I know it gets harder as they grow older.
Yeah, I agree. There is a lot that we experiment and that we can do in our own terms compared to the way we were raised as children. And I agree that this is very inspiring. Gloria, can you also share about LBQ parenting and criminalization? And in particular, how the bill affected you as a parent?
So the LBQ women here in Uganda have a new saying, which is that pregnancy is the new closet. And that has come out because I don't think it's intentional, but I see so many LBQ activists pregnant since the bill passed. And I have been having a little bit of conversations with people I know and my other queer friends who are pregnant about, of course, parenting and sharing my experience and asking if they were ready or if they played any part in being pregnant or if it's something that they wanted to. And many of them, unfortunately, were saying that they either got pregnant to protect themselves so that they do not look gay. So it's almost like a safety thing for some people. Some of them got pregnant because of family pressure, whereby your parent will be like, I clearly now know that there is no possibility of you maybe like getting married to a man. So at least give me a grandchild so I can let you be. But some actually really, really did have the children when they want to. But in communities and countries like where I am from in Uganda, so many queer women especially are getting pregnant as a weapon to protect themselves. Because sometimes when you are a mother, especially if you are like a feminine presenting queer woman, you will pass. Like people will assume that you're not gay because you're feminine presenting and then you have a child. So sometimes you will pass. But for like the masculine presenting people, it's a different story. Now, since the bill passed, the situation for us who are queer parents has not been so easy, starting from the neighborhoods in which we live, because a lot of sensationalization and propaganda that was spread to the general public about the bill is that we are recruiting children into homosexuality. So as a parent that has, because my child is like 1 year and 4 months right now, the neighborhood is going to assume that you're grooming your child. So we are a lesbian couple, and then my child is a girl. I have a little daughter. So they will assume you're grooming. So there will be these things where like your child themselves is going to face homophobia because of of the parents they have. My child is very young. She's even just beginning to talk. Like, there are so many things she hasn't been able to tell. Every now and then you'll find like there will always be people that are doing things to you or to your child that are not kind and nice.
Yeah, thanks, Gloria. So many situations that are difficult and where stigmatization and discrimination happen. Gloria, can you tell me about your experience as a queer parent within the queer community? How are children perceived within the queer community?
Children are loved. Like queer people love children. But the problem, I feel like there's a lot of unlearning to do because there is still a lot of biphobia that is existing in the world. In my community, there's a lot of biphobia, but I know that is something that is existing all over the world. And how biphobia is affecting queer parenting is the assumption that any queer parent, any queer woman that is pregnant is bisexual or has turned bisexual. So often when a queer woman is pregnant, there will always be like some attitude that she may get from some community members about, oh my God, you're bisexual. Oh my God, you're here and there. Oh my God. Like people have not yet wrapped their minds around the other different ways in which people can get pregnant. So there's a lot of biphobia, and so they are relating getting pregnant with the fact that now this person is bisexual. So of course there'll be a lot of stigma. But then the funny thing is once the baby is born, then everyone loves the baby. Like the baby has so many aunties and so many uncles, like queer people are lovers. Like my house is full of gifts and people just won't stop gifting. So yeah, there's a lot of unlearning. And part of the work that we are doing, because we are a feminist organization, is being very intentional about sexual and reproductive health for LGBTQ women. And teaching and being able to empower and create awareness about parenting within queer communities. Parenting that will include IVF, that will include surrogacy. But even if someone got pregnant in the quote-unquote natural way of which they expect someone to get pregnant, it's also okay. So we are trying to help people unlearn all those myths and all the negative perceptions they have around being pregnant and parenting within the community. So as an organization, one of the things that we are doing is every time someone is pregnant, we will have to make sure we do a baby shower. We'll have to make sure we do a baby shower as a community. And when we do the baby shower, one of the things we do is we gift the baby, but also we give the mother a chance to engage other LGBTQ women about their pregnancy journey. Like, this is what it feels like. If they want to talk about how they got pregnant, it's okay. If they don't want to, that's also fine. But just to share their experience and let us know how we can support. So because of the love that we have now begun giving out to queer mothers that are pregnant, we feel like more people are now open to carrying pregnancies and being parents, yet they were scared of before. Also, people will volunteer. Like, of course, we will. So we'll have what we call the Farouk babies, like people that got pregnant when they are part of the organization. We call them the Farouk babies. So of course we will support you. We'll have a baby shower, but also as an organization, we are trying to set up a play station for children, so that for the queer parents, when they come to engage on sessions, they can bring their children along, and the children are also catered for. Also, as an organization on a policy, but also I think on a values level, we are very welcoming to queer parents. So when you have a child, it's okay for you to come to work with your baby. So like for our staff who are getting pregnant, like we don't want you to feel the pressure of, oh my God, I have to leave the baby at home, and then you are at work feeling very uncomfortable, anxious because your baby is at home. It is okay for you to come to work with your baby. I began coming to work with my baby when she was like around 3 months, and she would cry like she had colic. So she would be such a mess in office. And oh my God, like people would be carrying the baby in turns. This one would carry, the other one would carry. So we are trying to also foster that so that people feel very comfortable to have children and raise their children within the community and bring them around the community as well.
Love what you shared about the way your organization celebrates queer parents and their kids. But have you ever felt that as a parent, you are not queer enough?
Yes, I have. Because, like I told you, there's a lot of biphobia and the assumption that when you're a parent, you're bisexual. So I've forgotten what the word is. I think it's called Gold Star or Golden Lesbian. Like our community celebrates Gold Star or Golden Lesbians, like the lesbian who has never bore a child or ever slept or had a sexual experience or encounter with the man is the kind of lesbian that's celebrated in the community. So often when you are a queer parent, sometimes people do not feel like you're queer enough. And one of the biggest challenges you're going to have is dating. Like queer parents really struggle to date because, first of all, people are going to assume like you're not queer enough. They're like, maybe she doesn't like women as she claims that she does. But also I think the threat of the fact that now this person has to date you and your children at the same time. So like for so many relationships, unless you have had the baby with your current partner and stayed with them, it's a bit easier. But if you had, let me say, like a baby and then you broke up and then you're trying to go out there and try to find like another partner or date, it's going to be hard. Every time you tell someone you have a baby, they're like, I don't want to get into children mess. Or you're not a lesbian, you're lying. Maybe you will leave me and go back to the father of the child. Or maybe like that kind of thing. But also another stigma would be around the fact that the narrative, like I mentioned earlier, of recruitment. Some people are going to be afraid to date lesbians with children because they don't want to be perceived as recruiters. So many times, like sometimes queer parents who have children are going to be forced to like hide the fact that they have children or live two separate lives where their partner lives a different life and also like the life with their children is different. And then also there is the issue where outing comes in, because sometimes when as your child is growing, sometimes your child does not know that you are gay, you are a lesbian. And then maybe you're going to date this person. And, of course, relationship issues happen. Sometimes you'll get into a fight and tell each other things. So many queer parents have been outed to their children by their partners. So sometimes people are going to be like, I would rather like distance my children from my partner, so I do not. But so often when you give birth, people begin questioning. Like they begin questioning. So you have a child now. Are you still into women? Are you still gay? Are you bi now? Like there's always those questions that they have. And I'm telling them like, oh my God, I like women even more than I used to. What are you talking about? They always have like those questions and assume that now you have crossed the line, like you've, I don't know, crossed enemy lines and gone to the other side. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for sharing the beauty and the challenges of being a queer parent. I think that everything you shared is very personal and very political at the same time. Can you please tell us what you are asking for, what you are advocating for as an activist and as an LBQ parent?
First of all, is since I'm coming from a country like Uganda, where there's a lot of criminalization, where there's criminalization against LGBT person, but also like a huge clamp on SRHR for women in general. Like, I want LBQ women to be able to access the different alternatives in which they can have children. Here, we have what we call the SRHR bill, which is still being debated, but part of the clauses in the SRHR bill includes them banning surrogacy and saying that surrogacy should only be granted to couples who are heterosexual, who have been married for a long time, and they have medical proof to show that they are unable to conceive in their natural way. So that is really problematic to queer parents because it takes away like the opportunity for many of them to have children through surrogacy and through IVF. So my ask and my demand is that all women, including queer women, all women have access to the different ways and different forms in which they can bear children. So if they want to do surrogacy, if they want to do IVF, like that information should be publicly available and also people are able to access it. The other thing would be around safety, like I said, because IVF is quite expensive in Uganda. And one of the ways in which people are getting pregnant, LBQ women are getting pregnant, which really, really scares me, and it's a conversation we're having a lot about safety, is around sperm dumping. So how sperm dumping happens is a couple will go to a trash can of a hotel and pick out a used condom that is containing semen, and then go home and try to inseminate the other party using a syringe. Of course, the syringe without that sharp part, but like this other part of the syringe that doesn't involve the needle part. And so many young queer women are doing that. But like someone could contract HIV in that way, or a very terrible STI, or any other kind of infection. And that's happening because it's very hard for us to access the other alternative ways in which people would be able to safely conceive, because they're expensive, but also because of the stigma. Because even some of the people who can afford are unable to because of the stigma. If you went to a health center, fertility clinic in Uganda, and consulted about IVF, and then they ask, and then you're like, we are a couple, and you're taking your girlfriend, they will not work on you. They will discriminate you. They could probably like even out you. So we want accessibility to be there, but also the environment to allow people to be able to access these services in a safe and affirming way without any fear of any discrimination or stigma or homophobia. While as we face a lot of stigma, our children also face stigma. So I want to be able to report at school if my child is being discriminated just because she has two lesbian parents, or report like a health facility if my child is not being treated well, because for me that scares me. Sometimes I cry. I feel like I have developed a thick skin. I'm okay. Like, I'm not even going to say I'm okay, but it has happened to me so much that now I'm used to being discriminated and stigmatized. But I fear for my child because she's still too young. Like, I can't imagine her having to grow up and that in a world where she's treated like it's a crime for her parents to be gay, and where she has to pay for the fact that we are a queer couple.
Thank you very much, Gloria. Now, Gloria, I wanted to say that I think it's great to hear the joy that you expressed about your experience as a queer parent, what you shared about that experience for you on a personal level, the way parenting is celebrated in your community, in your organization. I think it is a very strong message that, despite the bill, that happiness is something that no one can take away from you and from your queer community. So thanks for that.
Thank you. I feel honored.